your evening with your family to be here. It means the world to me. And I want to thank DeVoe more. I thank him. I know he's here. Thank him for the use of, thank you DeVoe for the facility here, and our members of our host committee, thank you so much for loaning me your name. I grew up in a home where it was made apparent to us early on that there's nothing more important than your name. It's what you come into the world with. It is how people will identify you all the days of your life. And when you leave, that's the only thing you take with you. And so I'm honored when people loan me their name and you say, you believe in me. And that's been, I know, a step in faith for many people in the other areas of the district, the 16 counties. Growing up in Panama City and in Bay County, people know me there. So it's not as big a step in faith. But when I come out of Bay County and you support me, I understand there is some risk there. And so I want to tell you thank you. I'm not lost on that fact. I promise that I will live going forward the same way that I have lived looking back. As Gary mentioned, my family has been in Panama City for 3 generations in business, but 5 generations in Bay County. It's home. As Rocky alluded to just a few minutes ago, if he could get all the Beavises to shut up, then everybody could come together. Well, I'm a Beavis. And on Saturday, we had our the Beavis' 118th family reunion in Bascom, Florida. Wow. And my Uncle Billy Beavis, many of you may remember him, and Uncle Russell, which is Rocky's dad, 2 of the 5 that are still living. But this has been a great experience. I've got to reunite with family members and cousins all around the district, and I'll tell you, when you run for Congress, having 5,000 cousins is a good thing. You just really hope and pray they vote for you. Yeah, it's a toss-up, but it has been an awesome experience, and I'm amazed. We have been embraced warmly in Tallahassee. And I want to say thank you. We are finding friends. Every meeting, so many of you, I have met with you one-on-one or in small groups of 2 and 3. And we're blown away by the fact that we think you have come to the same realization that we have, that you have emphatically had enough.
Yeah, that's right.
DeVoe reminded me a few minutes ago, he said, you got to make sure and tell people that you've had enough of what? And because we heard about change, but unfortunately we didn't ask them to define that. And so I want to define a little bit tonight of what I've had enough of. Last year when we made the decision, and I say we, I'm one of 21 family members that live in Panama City, and we all are in business together. I have the great privilege of calling Panama City my home and working with my parents and my siblings. It's an incredible life. I go to bed every night with a woman that I started 1st grade with. We have been blessed with 4 daughters, Samantha, Stephanie, Allie, and Abby, and Susan and I have been blessed by God for what we enjoy. We love our business. We love our community. We love everything about it. But I will tell you, last year when we as a family made our decision, we all came to the same realization that we had had enough of the most precious things in our life, our business, our personal freedoms, our personal liberties, being challenged and stripped away from us. This isn't complicated, and I'm not a mystery. What you see is pretty much what you get. And so therefore, there's no deep-seated reason other than the fact that everything that I love, everything that I hold dear, is at risk. It's no more complicated than that, DeVoe. Everything that I love, that brings me joy, is at risk. And so therefore, I believe that it is incumbent upon men and women who can do something about that to do so. I'm 44 years of age. 2 years ago, I could not do this. Now, I can. I have fulfilled all of my commitments to my community, chairing all the boards that I've chaired, and some of the things that Gary mentioned. fulfill my commitments. And so now I have time. My kids are a little older, and 2 of them are in college. I can do this. I have been prepared for this moment. And our nation has always required that men that could, that they did. They did. I will say this, though, to you. This year requires all of us to do whatever we can do. For some of the host committee, they're doing all they can do. They can host an event. And I thank you for doing what you can do. Gary mentioned a few minutes ago, ABC, Association of Builders and Contractors. They took an unknown, a newcomer. They interviewed me. They vetted me. They liked what they heard. They told Washington, this is a guy we believe in. So I go to Washington, D.C., and they believe that too. And you're talking about taking a risk. They made a public endorsement in a primary that Steve Sutherland was the candidate and the man that needed to represent the good, hardworking men and women of CD2. I am humbled by that. You took a risk. So I'm taking a risk. This year we must all take risks. We must get out of our comfort zone, because I promise you that everything you hold dear is at risk as well. Your business. My family's been in the business for 55 years. We sweat a payroll every Friday. And sometimes it's a heavy sweat. We understand the pain of having to let people go. The pain of having to cut salaries. The pain of having to end bonuses. And then I open up the front page of the paper and I see that we've now passed a health care bill that's going to increase the employment agency there at IRS by 17,000 employees. I've had enough of government spending increasing 20%, while your budget and my budget and the family budget decreasing 20%. I've had enough of unemployment in this great state of Florida that I love, pushing record levels of 12 and 13%. I've had enough of that stuff. I've had enough. I've likened the federal government to a raging river. A river serves a purpose. It's good for shipping cargo. It's good for irrigation. It's good for energy, hydroelectric energy. It's good for fishing. But when that river runs over its banks, then that river that was constructive is now destructive. We all see pictures of the Mississippi River flooding. And what happens up in North Dakota when that happens? That river gets into homes. It gets into churches. It gets into small businesses. It gets into the lives of the people that live along the river. Well, we all live along the river of the federal government. And I will tell you, that river has gone over its banks. It is flooding into every area of my life. And so this year, Steve Sutherland and the Sutherland family and his friends and his supporters, we're going to push that river back. We're going to push it back to within its banks. We're going to grab our vote, which is our sandbag, and we're going to push that river back. We need the river. The river has a place. It has a purpose. But it is not to infiltrate every area of my life. It is time for the people to rise up. I'm honored that you're here. I have a lot of friends in this room that have driven a long way. I know Bruce Christmas drove all the way up from Tampa to be here tonight. I need your support going forward, all of my friends. I need your support. I'm in a dogfight. You know that. We're talking about trying to do something that Northwest Florida and North Florida has never done. Elect a Republican in CD2. Polling is good. Polling says that if it's ever going to happen, it's going to happen this year. The Washington Post released a poll a few months ago that said in a head-to-head that we would beat Congressman Boyd 52 to 37. But the only polls that matter are August 24th and November 2nd. We understand that. But we're tracking. And I'm a hunter. I love to deer hunt. I've tracked enough deer in my time. I know when I'm tracking a big buck. And we're tracking. We just got to be patient, work hard, do the things necessary, appeal to people like yourselves, and make sure that you do what you can do to help us in this great endeavor. Tell your friends. I'm an unknown here in Tallahassee. Chances are you go to work with people who've never heard of me. Chances are you go to church with people that have never heard of me. Guys, chances are you're foursome at the golf course, never heard of me. The guys that get in your bass boat and go fishing, they've never heard of me. I need you to talk about Steve Sutherland for Congress. This is not about me, though. It is about us.